Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We've been catching up. We'll get started this morning, committee meetings with, beginning with our Finance Committee. Members, remember that we're being live streamed, so if you need to turn on your microphones when you speak, also make sure that you silence your cell phones. Regent David, will you please call your committee to order?
Yes, ma'am. Happy to do so. Ms. Bentley Smith, will you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Happy to do so. Regent David,
Here.
Regent Meir, Regent Creed, Regent Hickson,
Here.
Regent Temple, Regent Williams-Brown, here. LCTCS representative, LSCU representative, here. Southern representative, here. UL system representative.
Here.
I believe we have a quorum. Yeah, we have a quorum.
Oh, thank you so much. Next up is item 3, the review and acceptance of our financial year 2025-2026 operating budgets, which we discussed at great length yesterday. Members, thank you all for participating in yesterday's very informative budget hearings. It was great to hear from our systems about their plans going forward and the remaining challenges that must be addressed. Why don't you give us your presentation, Ms. Bentley Smith?
Thank you, Regent David. I do want to take this moment to say thank you to each and every one of y'all who were able to attend our budget hearing process. With your help and diligent guidance, we had a wonderful discussion yesterday with our system leadership, and I also want to say thank you to each of the members within each of the systems who came yesterday and provided information and answers to what were some formidable questions. So thank you in advance.
And we need you and both of y'all to stay diligent, especially with our last meeting yesterday, to stay on top of what's going on so we can all be here to help and inform, and be informed and to inform others about what's going on, particularly with our Louisiana system, with all our systems, with the budget shortfalls we may be coming, with the problems with LOSPA, in terms of whether or not we have enough money to fully fund TOPS throughout the rest of this year, fully fund Mike Foster throughout the rest of this year, two very popular programs, and with the issues in our Louisiana system and some of our other systems to make sure we understand what financial hardship they have. Because we know there's some hardships out there without really clear plans or answers right now. So thank you for that, and please keep working diligently to keep us posted monthly.
Always, and we're at the ready, whether it's monthly, weekly, or daily. So please feel free to reach out at any time should you have any additional questions or request any additional information. And Chris and myself, Dr. Reed, Chair Cordell, we work very well with the division and our legislative leaders and the governor's office. So should anybody need any information, we are always at the ready to provide whatever they may need. So with that, I'll just step right into it. This is information you saw yesterday at the budget hearing. So what we presented and discussed yesterday is what is up for approval today. Just a quick overview of the difference between the previous fiscal year and current year being fiscal year 25-26. You'll see a small difference between our general fund of about $4.6 million, with a significant increase in fees and self-generated. That is reflective of the tuition budget authority that was requested. Primarily, much of that is from the LSU system with their huge strides in enrollment. With that being said, there's a difference between 25 and 26 of about $68 million. So what's included in there? Within that area, you will see about $24.6 million in UL system enhancements. That includes some funding for UNO, Grambling, ULM in regards to operating support. Also some funding for Northwestern for their military and first responder. At LSU, that offsets a lot of the federal support changes for Ag Center, Pennington, and our 2 health science centers. At Southern, those enhancements include operational support for the Law Center, SUNO, Southern Shreveport, as well as also providing support for those night and weekend classes and program enhancements that Southern New Orleans is working towards. You'll see as well an increase for the LSU First Health Plan that is considered a mandated cost. And then you'll also see an increase of $2.3 million for our Patriot Scholars. That is a tremendous program that helps support our Louisiana National Guard to attend schools and really enhance the work that they're doing on behalf of us as military, but also citizens of Louisiana. You'll also see a couple of negatives. As is the case, there were some non-recurring adjustments that came out to be about $42 million from the previous fiscal year 25 budget. A couple of top swap and adjustment to reflect the changes that you'll see on the other graph, other table for the TOPS fund, which will reflect changes as per the REC, as well as to reflect the change or the addition of the excellence program within TOPS. We had it looks like a decrease, but it's actually a savings in mandated costs with that $4.4 million. And then of course, within the preamble, we were requested across all state agencies to decrease some of our personal services. And within higher education, that decrease came out to be about $2.5 million. Within the statutory dedications, you'll see about 10.5 for campus revitalization. Much of those dollars are for graduate assistantships, as well as some funding for deferred maintenance at UNO. You'll also see some support for our HERO Fund, which supports all of our healthcare workforce across the state within each of our systems. That first responder for $1 million supports campus safety at LSU Shreveport. And then the self fund is a small increase to support the salaries and benefits at our systems. Again, as I noted at the top, these increases and decreases for our statutory dedications are dependent upon the REC, so they're very much reflective of those actions. And then you'll see a couple of negatives as well for the TOPS fund, the support fund, firemen, tobacco. Again, those are all directly related to the actions that were taken by the REC. So what does that look like across all means of financing as well as expenditures? Expenditure categories for each of our 4 systems as well as Board of Regents. And just of note, Board of Regents includes the LAFA and LUMCON programs as well. And you'll see here how that is presented. So with this action, this actually concludes our fiscal year 26 budget process. Next month, we begin our fiscal year 27 budget process with our budget request. We will be bringing that for your approval at our October board meeting up in Monroe. So with that, senior staff recommends that the board accept the fiscal year 25-26 operating budget. And I think I stole your line, Regent Bevy.
No, that's it. That's fine. Thank you for all of that hard work and for your presentation today and yesterday and all the time before. Members, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve the operating budgets for financial year 2025, 2026?
Motion to approve.
And a second? And we have a second. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
With regard to the operating budget, Elizabeth, just for the record, this is pretty much a flat higher education state-funded budget.
Yes, sir. The governor requested of all state agencies that we present a standstill budget, and in essence, that is exactly what this is. Yes,
So,
sir.
and the overall increase is due to self-generated revenue, and particularly the growth in the LSU system.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then the second question I have pertains to the legislature did approve dollars, an increase in online sports betting tax that goes to support athletics.
Yes, sir.
Only because I was thinking about this last night in the conversation. is that reflected anywhere? I know they haven't received the money, but it will be during this fiscal year. So did those systems anticipate that in their numbers?
No, sir, they did not, because the REC has not recognized those dollars, and until the REC recognizes those dollars, it cannot be reflected in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Any other business to come before the committee?
I have none at this time.
All right, hearing none, and given that we followed our agenda on time and in course, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks for keeping us on track and on time. Next up is the Facilities and Property Committee. Regent May, will you please call your committee to order?
Yes, I'd like to call Facilities Property Committee to order. Mr. Herring, will you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Chair May,
Here.
Vice Chair Temple, Regent Aubrey,
Here.
Regent Glazer, Regent Meir, Regent Reeves, Regent Sterling, Supervisor Noble, Supervisor Starnes, Supervisor Henry, LCTC Representative. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Will you move to item number 3, approval of Act 59959 project on the LSU AMN campus to renovate restrooms in the LSU Student Union?
Yes, sir. Just as a reminder again, Act 959 of 2003 permits institutions to pursue capital projects up to $10 million in cost outside the traditional capital outlay process, so long as they're not funded with state operating dollars. So today we have a request to renovate the restrooms within LSU Student Union, the first through the fourth floors of the facility. As you all know, this is a high-use facility that serves not only students, but faculty, staff, and a multitude of visitors as well. The project, it basically will improve the functionality, the accessibility, and the user experience for this heavily used facility. It involves replacing deteriorated components, upgrading fixtures to meet current code and ADA requirements, and just refreshing the finishes throughout each restroom on each floor. The total project cost is $1.7 million, and it will be funded with self-generated auxiliary revenues provided. I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we recommend approval of the project.
Thank you. Fairly straightforward request and recommendation. Do we have a second?
I second.
A motion?
Whichever. I move that we approve.
And I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes. Any other business to come before the committee?
Yes, sir. I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank the members that have attended the capital outlay visits that have been held thus far, and remind everyone we have some more scheduled over the next few weeks. I will send out the calendar of events after the meeting today. The next ones up are Southeastern Monday morning, followed by the University of New Orleans Monday afternoon. But I will send everybody an updated schedule of the upcoming visits and encourage you to attend if you're able to do so.
All right. Thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Second. All right. Committee is adjourned. Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Next up is Academic and Student Affairs Committee. Regent Sterling, will you please call your committee to order?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to call the Academic and Student Affairs Committee to order. Dr. Denley, will you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Regent Sterling.
Here.
Regent Aubrey.
Here.
Regent Creed. Regent Glazer. Here. Regent Meyer. Regent Shamir.
Here.
Regent Sarda.
Here.
LCTCS representative. LSU representative. Southern representative. And UL system representative. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Dr. Denley. We'll now move to item 3 on the consent agenda. Dr. Denley, please proceed.
Thanks so much. Yes, so today, as part of your packet, we have approval requested in the consent agenda for
several programs to move to a fully online modality. This is part and parcel of our academic planning process that once a year we ask campuses to let us know about those plans. And so senior staff certainly recommend the approval of those items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Denley. Members, you've heard the recommendations. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion. And second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Now moving on to item 4, our 2025 statewide strategic academic planning, a review and revision process of our university's degree program as granted by the Board of Regents by the state constitution. We heard briefly from Dr. Denley this morning in our board development and appreciate the great work. Dr. Denley, please proceed.
Thanks so much. Yeah, so back in 2021, this board approved a new process for academic planning, and that the structure of that was then approved the following April. And we have since then, now we're in iteration 4 of this, have been going through this process, asking campuses to create 3-year academic plans across the full portfolio of their degrees. So not just about new degree programs, but short new degree programs with modifications to existing programs, as well as asking them what are programs which need to be brought to the end of their useful life. This is part and parcel of the deliberate work of the Board of Regents in partnership with other agencies and partners across the state to really fill the education employment pipeline. I know you heard how important that was yesterday in the presentations from Commissioner Barra, among others, but it is just utterly crucial, and certainly will echo conversation we have a little later in the day when we talk about our master plan update. Every year, as part of that process, we have a conversation not just amongst ourselves, but with partners all across the state. We do a deep data-informed gap analysis. We use Lightcast data to be able to do that work, where we recognize what are the strategic occupational areas that the state needs additional capacity in. And we also have that conversation, as I say, not just among ourselves, but in partnership with regional economic development offices, with LED, with the Workforce Commission, and of course with the campuses and with the system offices as well, to really make sure that we are positioned today and in the future to be to do the best that we can to meet the needs of the state. Today, in your materials is a list of 35 new programs of interest that we are seeking approval for campuses to plan. I want to make it really, really clear to you today, you are not approving 35 new degree programs today. Instead, you, with your approval, will be allowing campuses to do the work of creating full proposals in up to 35 degree programs that we believe further go to meet the needs of those capacities across the state. 17 of those 35 programs represent expansions of existing elements across campuses. That may be a minor, maybe a concentration, maybe a specialization, or it may be an existing program that it's embedded within in some other way. But again, these programs are not just happening out of nothing. Instead, they are often being built out of existing work that has happened. And almost all, or in fact all but one of those programs directly meets a need in either the state's overall capacity needs or a direct need in the regional labor market area. And as I said, campuses are requesting permission to plan, that's all. And it's certainly, we do not anticipate, we never anticipate that all of those programs, even in their planning stages, will all come to fruition, but those that will, we certainly will bring forward for your consideration. Again, just for clarity, this is the standard order of practice. It will be the case, and we hope that it will be the case, that a brand new major employer will come to town, come to this state to invest in this state. If that is the case, and a new program needs to be created to meet the needs of that major employer, then we will bring that proposal to you for your consideration. It will not have to go through, we'll have to wait 3 years for it to be on a 3-year academic plan for us to be nimble enough to meet the economic needs of the state. As well as those planning stages, today we will also be presenting 20 degree programs, existing degree programs that have been requested to terminate, requested to bring to an end. Over and above those 20, we have commitments from campuses to terminate a further 23 degree programs. As I think I've explained before, terminating a degree program is not an on-off switch. Instead, often it requires creating of teach-out plans, it has approvals from accreditors, it has contractual arrangements often, and all of those kinds of things. And so, but there will be, across the next few months, you will see, and I will certainly draw your attention to them as they happen, 23 further degree programs. That will be 43 programs already that we have commitments for this academic year. Since the beginning of this new academic planning process, this will, by the end of that, mean that we will have terminated 123 academic programs from across our 28 campuses. As well as all of that, you also have a list of 164 degree programs that are at various stages of implementation. What we do when you approve a new degree program, we then require, until a program is fully mature, we ask them on an annual basis to let us know how it is that program is unfolding, what the enrollment is, what the numbers of degree awardees are, all of those things. And then at some point when the program has grown up to be a self-reliant program, then we let it free and we absolve them of that obligation to provide us that update. In your packet, you will see that there are programs that have reached that stage. They will be not asked unless something untoward happens, they will not be asked for a further update until in the foreseeable future. But the stages of those implementation of those 164 are in your packet. The last item I do want to make you aware of is a new way in which we're trying to create new efficiencies across the state. As we've done the work, and we have been doing on an ongoing basis to understand programs that are low producing, there are a number of disciplines across the state that are strategic to the state's interests, but as things currently stand, at multiple campuses, those programs are low producing. We are working with all of the 4 university systems. It's not that we want to lead LCTCS out, but the programs that are germane to this effort are bachelor's degrees. And so the 4 systems and the 3 systems that have bachelor's degrees, we have been in conversations with them and have commitment for them to create cooperative academic arrangements similar to the structure that we've created for the Cyber Academy, that sometimes will run across multiple systems, not only just one system, but across the whole state, where then by creating this cooperative academic arrangement, we can then understand an economy of scale and spread the obligation to teach that instruction across multiple campuses rather than all falling to individual institutions. We believe that this is a really promising way for us to achieve a considerable efficiency across the state. And again, this will be new to Louisiana, and we believe is pretty novel across the country. And so with that, senior staff recommend that the board take action on these following items: that you receive and accept the year 1 list of planned new degree programs, that you approve the requested program termination list, and that you receive the list of program progress reports. And certainly when we move into those cooperative academic arrangements, those will appear on future meetings for your consideration. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Denley. I have a question, but I'll yield. Are there any questions from any members?
Yes, just to reiterate, because a couple of members have asked, the action that you're requesting is part of it is information only for planning, but the action is to approve for year 1 the planning aspects of this, and that we will see these institutions bring full detailed proposals over the year at some point.
That's exactly correct. So only degree programs that you approve in item 1 of the approval today are able to be brought forward as full proposals. But that's right. when you finally approve them, they will be, there's considerable detail. It's a 20, 30-page proposal with all of the bells and whistles, and you will see all of it.
But you're also approving the terminations as well as the progress report. So it's a bundle of three.
Okay. And with regard to determinations, are any of these by virtue of low completer?
Yes, many of them, yes.
These
Almost
are,
exclusively.
so this is, yeah. So could you differentiate which one, the low completer or one just the institution said, you know, yeah, there's no need for?
I think they are all.
These are all low completers for the most part. So none of the institutions really are bringing them, just, you know, we're going in a different direction. We're not able to, the student has decided or whatever that we don't.
I mean, I think the bottom line is, and I think institutions have really heard the conversations that this board has had over the last year or so. I think we are all very well aware of that to create new requires us to repurpose what we have already. So these are all efforts to be able to realize savings, realize efficiencies, realize resources and institutional efforts that already are being invested over here today, and they are looking to take that investment away and reinvest them in some other more fruitful direction.
Yeah, and I can't speak to the other regions, but I will say that in the proposal yesterday in the budget hearings, I saw that in the LSU. I saw that in their plan specifically. And of course, I see McNeese being on the ground, very aggressive in that particular space. But when I see that institutions are looking at, you know, adding graduate programs that's going to require PhDs to teach those graduate courses, and knowing that the cost of recruitment of those faculty and making sure that we can provide them not only a job, but give them some experience where they could serve in some of these endowed professorships or chairs and get the appropriate research. I mean, the hiring a graduate level professor is expensive. But if the money is not there, you know, we got to have some serious justification or serious collaboration. And I like the Cyber Academy and what you're doing there. So, you know, I want to make sure that those who are watching and those who are going back to those respective systems understand that we have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure these campuses understand this environment where we are. We want to support it. It's got to fit a workforce need, but we can't be all things at every campus. We got to have some serious specialization. That's my perspective. So,
Tristan, is this level of discipline in the tiers that you have, is that rigor new?
So explain
The rigor where you have, like in our attachment B, you have the progress report on those that they need no further action.
yes, yes.
Then you have successful, but you're going to come back. And then you have those that you're showing some improvement, but so it's kind of like you're on the watch list. So is that level of scrutiny new?
So I believe this is year 3 that we've
Okay, so year 3.
So we've been doing that for a little while.
Very
Again,
good.
just to clarify, the campuses that are in, and again, this is an effort of, I think, important efficiency. There was a time when we made everybody produce a big, elaborate progress report. There was considerable effort, you can imagine, on campuses to be able to produce these things. Considerable effort in my office to read 200 odd proposals. Well, you know, red tape is red tape, and we all have to suffer it. And so where there are ways in which we can take the foot off the gas there, it's important. So this is what we do. The programs where it looks as though everything is fine, the enrollment is fine, the production is fine, those programs, we ask for that in a much more abbreviated way as part of the academic planning process that relieves them of a needless obligation when there's no reason for them to have to give us a multi-page report to say everything looks fine. It allows us also then and the institutions to pay much more specific attention to the programs where things are not quite in the way that they should, and allows them to put some more TLC and effort there, allows us as an office to also pay some more attention.
That is fantastic work.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just one more follow-up to Dr. Denley. What defines a low completer, and what is the time period for that?
Yeah, so as things currently stand, the definition we use is the same, a very similar definition, which I think is really used across the country. But there are some thresholds, production thresholds for bachelor's, associate, master's, and doctoral level. And they vary a little bit by discipline, and they certainly vary by level. And then over a 3-year average, if you fall below that, then you are considered to be a low-producing program. What we are really looking to do, and this is, we've been in a multi-year a multi-month kind of approach to this, to make that understanding of what it means to be a low-producing program much more nuanced than that. Because the reality is, yes, part of being low-producing is producing graduates. But part of being low-producing is, well, how many students do you have? And certainly we want to make sure that programs, certainly some of the programs we're talking about today, have gotten to a place where they're just simply not sustainable. They don't have enough students to even be able to teach the curriculum on a regular basis, and that's concerning. So can we flag that before we get to a place where we get to that stage, we want to get to that place? And then also to develop some metrics where we can recognize the difference between a program where all of the courses in that program exist in other disciplines or other programs. And so having that program really is complementary to other things that already exist. It's a different situation than a program where there are perhaps a considerable number of courses that are particularly unique to that program. And so having that program then has a very significant instructional footprint on that campus. And so consequently, the economics of delivering that program are different. So we're trying to create some metrics to really be able to recognize that in a much more nuanced way. So
Can you share the low completed requirements in a one-pager?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I think that, Madam Chair, I've talked about that before. Where we're going with the headwind of higher education, the input, just as we've talked about, we haven't reviewed the athletic formula in 20 years.
Right.
This may be a conversation we could help the institutions better collaborate if they understand if two institutions are barely meeting the number, the consent agenda, all of those programs that we approved today are online. 100% of the ones we approved today were online. Maybe we can have some conversation as Regents cross systems. Hey, you're barely holding on with these programs. Can we collaborate in this and be more efficient with these resources? So I will look forward to receiving that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Any other
Speaker?
questions?
Well, not as a question, more of a comment. As we, approve these year one list of planned and new degree programs, I urge that the staff look into what pathways we can build for students, because a lot of the approvals that we were looking at were AASs or associate degrees that could be developed into a bachelor's or a master's, meeting our overall requirement for credentials. So that way, whenever the universities are looking into these programs, they also look into pathways to meet our, master's credentials requirements. So that way, it's a proper planned out path. If a student wants to attain a master's in cybersecurity, and they start off with an associate's at, say, BIPSI, they can go on and get their master's throughout the entirety of our 4 systems.
Yes, terrific comment, and it is a standard part of the proposal that we ask campuses to provide, that no matter what the level of credential, we ask them, okay, what are the pathways to reach this? Sometimes in high school, sometimes in dual enrollment, sometimes in our universal transfer pathways, sometimes in other credentials and other institutions, and then where does this credential lead? How does it meet a need in the workforce? How does it meet a need in an occupation? How is the curriculum of that degree meeting the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are expected for someone in that general area? But also, what are future credentials that can be stacked with this that it can lead to? So absolutely, and I'm really happy that you kind of put a spotlight on that. It's really important.
I have a question.
Yes, Rita Breyer.
Or do you have I remember in law school, if you went to LSU Law School, you could take courses at Southern, and students at Southern could take courses at the other law school, do you have examples of colleges in our state that are close in proximity, that are working together so they aren't duplicating courses? Especially, we have a lot of colleges in our state compared to our per capita population, but are you aware of any type of things that that Regent Aubrey is talking about that's actually going on, and examples?
Yes, I mean, not to beat the drum too much, but I mean, the Cyber Academy is, I think, a perfect example of this. So again, to make sure everyone knows this, so we have six institutions that are part of the Louisiana Cyber Academy. They share the instruction of currently 6 cyber-related courses. And so it isn't, the obligation of teaching those courses doesn't fall to any one of those institutions. It is shared among all 6 of them, but students from all 6 institutions can populate those courses. So, when you go into any one of those courses, there may be students from 4, 5, 6 of those institutions all together in that virtual space. We're all taking that course from a single instructor through maybe any one of the 6 institutions. And so that design is, I think, really efficient, right? It allows us to be able to offer that kind of cyber instruction. Just to Regent Aubrey's point, cyber instruction is expensive. To hire the people with the expertise in cyber world today is just really expensive. They're not easy to find. As a state, we're then able to realize that efficiency by being able to make that cyber instruction available all across the state. So, and I know you'll be particularly interested to know that that LSU-S and Grambling are both part of the Louisiana Cyber Academy, and BIPC too. So that creates that opportunity there. But that cyber instruction is also available in SUNO and Nichols. And so it really does allow that spread all across the state, but we have that efficiency from a cost perspective, which is so important. Yeah.
All right, any other questions, Regents? We've heard the recommendation from senior staff. Is there a motion to approve the recommended actions on the 2025-2026 academic plan?
I so move that we approve with emphasis on the elimination of those programs.
We have a motion by Regent Aubrey and a second by?
I'll second.
Okay, Regent Sarter. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Dr. Denley, is there any other business to come before the board? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Aubrey. And Shamia, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We are adjourned.
All right. Thank you, Chair Sterling. Next up is the Regent Research and Sponsored Initiatives Committee. Regent Finley, will you please call your committee to order?
Yes, Carrie, good morning. Madam Chair, I'd like to call the Research and Sponsored Initiatives Committee to order. Ms. Robinson, please call the roll.
Yes, ma'am. Regent Finley?
Here.
Regent Pryor? Here. Regent Glazer? Here. Regent Henson?
Here.
Regent May? Here. Regent Shamia?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3, the appointment of an endowed chairholder without a national cert to LSU Health Center Science Center in New Orleans. Ms. Robinson, would you please move forward in explaining this item?
Yes, LSU Health Sciences Center New Orleans has requested to fill the Henry Rimion Chair in orofacial and maxillofacial pain, a highly specialized chair with Dr. Gary Classer, who is a longtime faculty member on the campus and very highly qualified to fill this chair. The request has met all of the requirements in policy for an internal appointment. We also gave this to an external evaluator to provide an opinion, and the external evaluator from University of Kentucky Medical School strongly recommended that Dr. Classer's appointment be approved. So the senior staff is recommending approval of this appointment. If this is approved, I will note that per the policy LSU Health Sciences Center New Orleans will have one more opportunity in this academic year to fill an endowed chair in the national search.
Thank you. Members, you've heard the recommendation of the senior staff. Is there a motion to approve the request for the waiver?
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved by Regent Shamia and seconded by Regent Glasser. Any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The motion passes. Moving on, item number 4, the policy revision on the support fund endowed professorship subprogram. Ms. Robinson, will you address the changes that are being requested?
Yes, most of you may remember in the June meeting, we changed the budget categories for the Board of Regents support fund pending the vote of the people to repeal the support fund and move all the money to address unaccrued liabilities in the state retirement systems. We have expedited our competitive review process for the current fiscal year to ensure that we can complete that process before the funds are swept. And as part of that, our single non-competitive program, the Endowed Professorships Program, has a deadline that's stipulated in policy of March 31st. We are requesting to make a revision to policy to change that deadline to February 28th in order to meet our expedited schedule for funding recommendations to you in March.
Thank you.
We are recommending approval.
Thank you. Members, you've heard the recommendation of the senior staff relating to the deadline policy. Is there a motion to approve the policy revision to the support fund endowment professorship subprogram?
Motion to approve.
It's been moved by Regent Hickson. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Regent May. Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The motion passes. Is there any other business, Ms. Robinson, to come before the committee?
Yes, I'd like just to take a moment to recognize a member of the RSI staff who has accomplished something amazing. Dr. Michael Kansari, please stand, Dr. Kansari. Dr. Kansari has recently been named LSU's newest Boyd Professor, which is the highest faculty honor that can be granted by the institution.
Excellent.
All right. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Any other business?
Ms. Robinson.
Yes, sir.
With regard to the, I think we're going to vote again on the amendment dealing with this fund, right?
Yes, in April.
And so are we going to be making sure, I know there was some concerns, we had to kind of give the administration the impact of these multi-year grants and things, so if it did go away, what the impact would be. Is it wise for us to be cautious and not run certain programs if we know the funding will go, beyond that?
That's the action that you took in June, actually. We
Okay.
removed all of the multi-year opportunities and are running competitions only for endowment matching and one-year awards. Those awards would come out of the current fiscal year, not the next fiscal year. So if we approve those awards and obligate those funds in March, that takes care of that issue. We will also be bringing to you a recommendation when we bring funding recommendations to provide for the multi-year awards from previous years and our federal matching obligations. We believe we have a solution to that, and we'll be bringing you recommendations soon.
Got it. And so, with regard to the opportunities for new award, and maybe I'm overstepping, is there a way that we can? No, I'll hold on. Let me defer on that because I mentioned it in the board development, an idea too. But rather than bring it up here, let's talk.
Yeah, I
that
think
line.
we need some follow-up on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I have a question. Did the Board of Regents scholarship ever pass the muster, pass the DEI stuff?
We are still awaiting a ruling on whether the first generation scholarship program is considered a proxy by the U.S. Department of Education. We have had some inquiries from institutions, and what we've been advising institutions who are uncomfortable moving forward in that program is to convert the endowments to another endowment type within the support fund. That is an easy way if with donor approval, obviously with the private donor's approval, but that is an easy way to be more comfortable. They can create workforce scholarships with them. They can create graduate scholarships with them if that's their preference.
Okay. And you said we're waiting on approval from whom?
U.S. Department of Ed, we're waiting on their
Ruling.
word as to whether this counts as a proxy, whether first generation is counted as a proxy.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
It's been moved by Regent Hickson, seconded by Regent Glassbury. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. Next up is the Statewide Programs Committee. Regent Pryor, will you please call your committee to order?
Yes, I'd like to call the Statewide Programs Committee to order. And Ms. Robinson, will you, after you sit, will you please call the roll?
Regent Pryor,
Here.
Regent Shamia,
Here.
Regent May,
Here.
Regent Reeves. Here. Regent Sterling.
Here?
I'm sorry, somebody changed the slide on me and I can't see the roll. I'm sorry. Regent Sarda.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. Our first item is item number 3, a presentation on National Recovery Month. Our Assistant Commissioner for Student Health and Wellness, Dr. Allison Smith, is here to present this item. This item is for informational purposes only and requires no vote. Dr. Smith, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Regents. It is always my pleasure to join you all every September as we recognize National Recovery Month and to tell you about some of the happenings that are going on with our collegiate recovery programs across the state of Louisiana. We have our continued ongoing collaboration with the Louisiana Department of Health that has been providing additional funding to support collegiate recovery. We are in talks to get some additional support for the collegiate recovery programs that ended their first cohort. We have 3 schools in our second cohort, that is South Louisiana Community College, the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and Northwestern State Louisiana University. And we are working on some additional funding for our first set of 6 schools that ended their cohort. So in March of this year, I had an opportunity to talk to our campuses, all of our collegiate recovery programs, about the sustainability as we knew their funding was running out. What was really interesting that I believe Dr. Denby will appreciate, we even got to talk about the momentum framework, making sure that all of our campuses understand the momentum framework, that it's not just something that's housed on the academic side of our institutions, that they understand how this is us. Collegiate recovery is a part of a broader student success plan, not just a one-off programming that they do sometimes that feels really good. We talked about how it meets the engagement thread, and I'll show you a really clear example of that in just a few slides. This is all of the collegiate recovery staff and people that they serve, staff that support them at the conference hosted by Southeastern this year, their Recovery Capital conference that provides, these are all the staff, other departments they work with on campus to provide support to students in recovery. And so this is what I mean by, we'll talk about the engagement slide. This is a young lady who I met at Southeastern, who I met a few months later, and we talked about that engagement thread. This is how she became engaged in the Southeastern community outside of her classroom. She became a part of the collegiate recovery program, and she found it a way to support her own personal recovery, but to also serve on her campus, to give back to other students who may be in need. Sorry to my early childhood folks. She was in early childhood. She said, but I wasn't making enough money to support myself. So I wanted to come back to school to get a degree, because I know that if I get a degree, I can earn more money. And so what we want to do is be sure that as we're on our way to 2030, that we're providing the additional support services that students need to be successful on to graduation. And so she is a very vibrant part of the Southeastern Collegiate Recovery community there, and she also helps engage her other students on campus. This is the picture I showed y'all last year before we headed to the national conference. These are all the few schools that attended in 2024. Dr. Reed was able to give the keynote this year at the National Collegiate Recovery Conference because it was housed this year in New Orleans, after we successfully lobbied them that we now have enough support in the state here that we can provide on-site support. All of our schools pitched in, volunteered, table their event, and that is Tom Farley, who is the brother of Chris Farley, who shared his insight, his family's journey with addiction. And so we brought the conference to New Orleans, we got them to come here. What was really cool, that student that's in the back that the arrow pointed to, that is Miss Narfisa Green. She is a student at North Shore Technical Community College. And last year I showed you this picture of her. What's really cool is that last year she was just finishing up her GED. Now she's enrolled in the associate's program at North Shore Technical Community College working on her associate's degree. And she says she has plans to work on a bachelor's and she's not sure what's next. But we want to show that that is a huge part of her retention. She said, I feel like I'm supported. I have a place to come to, not just for homework, not just for assistance, but they can also help me maintain my recovery while I'm working on my degree. And so I just want to highlight two of our folks in Southeastern. Talent really does live here. These two, Brian Sadler won the National Collegiate Recovery Student of the Year, and Annette Baldwin won the Collegiate Recovery Outstanding Service Award, who runs their program there. And so I wanted to highlight LSU's program. So they were able to get the state capitol lit up in purple on August 31st for National Overdose Awareness Day. And they also participated in the Purple Chair Project, which represents the number of lives lost to overdose in East Baton Rouge Parish. They placed those chairs out on the lawn at the parade grounds at LSU. They've done tabling events, giving out Narcan, doing demonstrations, showing students how to respond in the event of an overdose. And then also, these are some amazing events they've been able to have. They partnered with Ryan Clark, his organization, and then also with Emmett Smith a couple of days ago on an event there, talking to students of all sectors of campus, engaging different student types. Like, this is why mental health and recovery is important. And if you have questions or concerns or you need help, this is who to reach out to on your campus. And then at the top, they participated in the Thought Mardi Gras Parade. Because one, what we make a really cool point about is that it's not just having students in recovery who are tucked into a corner and not enjoying your college experience. For a lot of us, college was one of the best times of our life. We had a lot of fun. And we want our students to have that same experience while they get their degree. So it's making sure that they have events that are safe and supportive for them to attend. And a couple of weeks ago, I was invited to talk to the Metro Council, and on the left, that is Adam Singer, who is the program director for the Collegiate Recovery Program at LSU, who is a person in long-term recovery. He's a social worker. He's also enrolled in the PhD program at LSU, getting another credential, helping us on to 2030. And so we talked about that at the Metro Council as well. But one of the things I really want to highlight is Miss Baton Rouge USA 2025. She says the most special thing that LSU has given her has been the Collegiate Recovery Program. Not the athletics, not the classes, not the football games, but the Collegiate Recovery community. That became her platform after she lost her father, who died to a fentanyl overdose in 2023. And as a child of a person who was impacted by substance use, she was like, I started to recognize my own triggers with that and decided I kind of wanted a space where I'm able to have some support on campus. And so she has been an amazing champion for substance abuse and mental health services on our campus. She was also with Senator Bill Cassidy when they came down to talk about the Halt Fentanyl Act, and so she was able to speak there as well. And so I want to say thank you all. This is a shirt from our folks over at Grambling State University. It says, when we recover loudly, we keep others from dying quietly. So thank you all for the support you all continue to provide for our students in recovery on our campuses. Any questions?
Just fantastic work. Inspiring, fantastic. Let us know how we can help.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, just one thing. Allison, can you speak to how many campuses have collegiate recovery?
We are now up to 8 campuses, and we are working as fast as we can get funding to expand that to more programs. And that is just, it's a matter of funding and being able to congeal all those services where we're able, this past weekend, the students at LSU's Collegiate Recovery Program did a joint tailgate with the students from Southeastern, and they were able to have an amazing time enjoying the game and enjoying the tailgate for people in recovery.
That's awesome.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for all the great work you're doing, as we saw. And a big thank you to the institutions who are taking up this charge as well. We know that we need all students to succeed to improve our state and reach our attainment goal. Next item is item 4, a clarification of the Board of Regents, a program contract structure regarding LOSFA and LumCon, and Dr. Denley and our General Counsel, Uma, will join us for this presentation. Tristan and Uma, please go forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The item we have before you today is a fairly minor clarification. It is already made clear by law. So by operation of law, what we are asking you to clarify or ratify is already implied by law. Some of you may know this, some of you, this may be before your time. Back in 2016, the two programs that are currently within the Board of Regents, the Louisiana University's Marine Consortium, LUMCON, and the Office of Student Financial Aid, LOSFA, those two had their own governing boards prior to 2016. In 2016, the legislature folded these two programs, eliminated those two governing boards, and placed them within the jurisdiction of the Board of Regents. So since 2016, this board is the governing authority for those two programs. However, due to historical practices, the contracts, many of the contracts are still done under the name of LOSFA and LUMCON. And more recent contracts we do, for instance, LUMCON has a contract with NSF. We would say the University's Marine Consortium through the Board of Regents, or the Board of Regents on behalf of LUMCON. So newer contracts have been phased into the newer structure, but some of the contracts still have the two programs as the contracting parties. So why are we talking about a 2016 law? In 2024, the data sharing agreements with Louisiana First, that was the initiative for longitudinal research that was also placed within the Board of Regents. It's an initiative of the Board of Regents run through the UL Lafayette KBB Blanco Center. So that is the research arm for the Board of Regents, but LA First is an initiative of the Board of Regents. So since December 1st, 2023, we have had data sharing agreements with different state agencies, all with the aim of conducting longitudinal research that analyze various aspects of student success, the kind of social economic well-being that we need for our students. So it assists, that piece of legislation was to assist the Board of Regents in coming up with policy recommendations, analyses, with the aid of sound data from these various agencies. LOSFA is not mentioned as a separate entity that has to share with LA First because LOSFA is part of the Board of Regents. So that kind of highlights the need for clarification at this time. So what we are asking for is a simple clarification that regardless of the entity that is reflected in the various data sharing agreements, any contract entered into by LOSFA or LUMCON be deemed, recognized as properly that of the Board of Regents, so that we can seamlessly implement LA First legislation. So that is the background and the recommendation. And Dr. Denley can share additional information on LA First and the need for data sharing.
Sure, happy to answer any questions that you might have. So as you say, LA First is the state's longitudinal data system that really does provide the framework for us to be able to answer so many of the questions that I know we've all had over the years about exactly how it is that the educational employment pipeline really does function in this state, and how many other aspects of state life are incorporated into that data. So it's a really important new structure, and so this request today really does clarify some important aspects about how we can further utilize that data in ways we want to make sure that is clearly, legally clear, transparent.
And this is Dr. Barnes's work?
That's right.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
I had a recent conversation with him. They've been, I guess, published their first 3 reports initially.
That's right.
And so it'd be good at some point, whether it's through board development or here, that we potentially kind of begin to bring, because there are a lot of data sets that, for example, that they need individual agreements. And the way our laws are constructed in Louisiana, that I think we can advocate for to get the data that we want, but many of them are individual data sharing agreements that have to be executed at the parish level, at the school district level, that in order for us to have the power of analysis that we want in a state, we currently don't have that today, so.
Exactly. That's why the first legislation was passed.
Right.
To enable the state to access the data. I want to mention that this does not compromise the privacy interests of any holder of confidential data. The same restrictions that are currently in law will continue to apply, so what you're about to do will not affect the privacy interests at stake.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Is there a motion to recognize the contracts as recommended by senior staff? Okay. Is there any discussion or any more questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The motion passes. Is there any other business to come before this committee?
No, sir.
Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Any discussion or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Regents. Next up is the Planning, Research, and Performance Committee. Regent Williams-Brown, will you please call your committee to order?
I'd like to call the Planning, Research, and Performance Committee to order. Dr. Craig, will you call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Regent Meyer, Regent Williams-Brown,
Here.
Regent David.
Here.
Regent Glazer. Regent Hickson.
Here.
Regent Reeves. Here. Regent Sarda.
Here.
Ma'am, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now move to item 3, the consent agenda. Dr. Craig, please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. We have a very short agenda this morning. We just have one item on the consent agenda. We have 5 institutions that are up for renewal. All of these institutions are accredited by U.S. Department of Education recognized accreditors and have been previously approved by the Board of Regents to operate in the state of Louisiana. They are all up for approval. 4 of them offer master's degree or higher programs. Only 1 is offering bachelor's degree programs. That is the University of Massachusetts Global. So happy to answer any questions, but we recommend approval of the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions? You have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, motion to approve, or second.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Is there any other business to come before the Planning, Research, and Performance Committee?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. We are adjourned.
All right, thank you. Next up, Regent Sterling, please call your Personnel Committee to order.
Thank you again, Madam Chairman. I'd like to call the Personnel Committee meeting to order. Ms. Bentley Smith, will you call the roll?
Yes, ma'am, happy to. Regent Creed, Regent Sterling,
Here.
Regent David,
Here.
Regent Finley. Here. Regent Pryor. Here. Regent Temple. Regent Williams-Brown. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda is the annual evaluation of the Commissioner of Higher Ed. Ms. Bentley Smith, please explain the process.
Yes, ma'am. Since this is a personnel item, the board may choose to go into executive session pursuant to statute 4216 as noted above to discuss personnel matters. Commissioner Reed has been given written notification of the executive session as is required under statute 4217A. With that, she has agreed to a private discussion, which is noted within the statute 4217A. As you know, no action can be taken, nor any voting or polling conducted during this executive session. The executive session is for discussion purposes only. While this is an executive session of the Personnel Committee, as with all of our committee meetings, other members of the board are able to be present for the discussion, though only Personnel Committee members may vote.
Thank you, Elizabeth. At this time, the committee needs a 2/3 vote on a motion to go into executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
So moved by Regent Finley. Second?
Second.
By Williams Brown. Ms. Bentley Smith, can you please call the roll for a voice vote?
Yes, ma'am, happy to. Regent Creed, Regent Sterling,
Yes?
Regent David,
Yes.
Regent Finley,
Yes.
Regent Pryor, Regent Temple, Regent Williams Brown.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Our motion has passed. We will now go into executive session. Audience members, you may stay seated. Remember, all regions are allowed to join in the conversation, and we will meet in the Napoleon Bonaparte room. Elizabeth?
Regent Sterling, at this time, we need a motion to come out of executive session and resume our public agenda.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion from Regent Finley and a second.
I'll second.
Second from Regent Williams Brown. Any discussion, objection? Elizabeth, can you please call the roll?
Happy to. Regent Creed, Regent Sterling,
Here?
Regent David,
Here.
Regent Finley. Here. Regent Pryor. Regent Temple. Regent Williams Brown. Here.
Thank you. We did discuss the Commissioner's performance evaluation using the reflections and observation Dr. Reed provided in a document summarizing the accomplishments. Just a few to note. We are on track to achieve our 80,000 annual completers, only 5,000 left to go. That means 350,000 completers since 2019. We additionally are at 52.6% in our attainment rate with our 2030 goal of 60%. And going into our 4th year of the Momentum Summit, which has been a big part of the Commissioner and the team's ability to achieve these goals. Is there a motion to approve the evaluation of the Commissioner?
So moved.
David and Regent Finley Brown. Any questions, any discussion? All those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Bentley Smith, is there any other business to come before the Personnel Committee?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Finley is motion, second?
Second.
Williams Brown, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Members, this concludes our committee meeting. We will now break for a quick lunch in the Iowa room and return back to our meeting at 1:15. Thank you. All right, guys, we're on to our second half. I'd like to call the September Board of Regents meeting to order. Members, remember, we're being live streamed, so you'll need to turn on your microphones when you're speaking and speak directly into your microphone. We will now move on to the roll call. Doreen, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Regent Aubrey?
Here.
Regent Cordell?
Here.
Regent Creed? Regent David?
Here.
Regent Finley? Here. Regent Glazer? Here. Regent Hickson?
Here.
Regent May?
Here.
Regent Meir? Regent Pryor?
Here.
Regent Reeves?
Here.
Regent Sarda?
Here.
Regent Shamia?
Here.
Regent Sterling?
Here.
Regent Temple? Regent Williams Brown?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Doreen. Next up are public comments. Are there any public comments?
No.
Hearing none, I'll ask for any additional public comments to go under new business. Members, you received a copy of the August 20th, 2025 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Approved by Aubrey, seconded by Hickson. Any discussion, any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we will vote on the committee reports and recommendations together. However, if any board member wishes to take up any of the committee reports separately, please let me know and we can consider those individually. Is there anyone who wishes to take up any committee reports separately?
Madam Chair, unless objection, I move that we approve all committee reports in globo, A through G.
There's a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in globo? Aubrey and Hickson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next up is our long-awaited momentum moment, where we reveal the key takeaways from our 6-year master plan report. Thank you to the amazing Dr. Tristan Denley and our Regents team as we spent the last year focused on mapping our successes and our pathway to 2030, which we're blowing that, spoiler alert, we're blowing it out of the water. Doubling down on our efforts to ensure access and success for every population in the state. To us, that means equipping our people with credentials of value so that they can contribute to Louisiana's workforce and economic development, which creates a ripple effect of success throughout our state. It's very important work that y'all are doing, so I appreciate all of your work with that, Dr. Denley. We've made significant strides along this journey, reversing some of the negative trend, which were accelerated by many years or a couple of years of disruption, being hurricane and COVID. The hard copy of this year's report is in front of you. It will also be posted on our website today. With that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Tristan Denley, who will share these exciting updates from the last 6 years of efforts.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so it's a huge pleasure to be able to let you know in this year's momentum moment kind of what are the ways in which we are accelerating momentum. You know that these are changes that have happened over a considerable amount of time. It was back in 2019 when the then board enacted the master plan, Louisiana Prospers, that, just as the name suggests, envisaged a more prosperous Louisiana, which really does link the prosperity of the state to the ongoing educational attainment of Louisiana's citizens. And so it is that work that we undertake on a daily basis. And I know I want to join with the Commissioner in thanking everyone for all of the work that they do, both those who are here as part of this agency, but of course all of the thousands of faculty members, staff members across our 28 institutions. There is no way that any individual can do any of this alone. It is only together that we're able to do what we do. The overall picture that was part of that initial master plan was really a threefold focus: to expand access across the state, making sure that the possibility for people being involved in all kinds of education past high school was available to them right there in their own communities, making sure that we're able to eliminate persistent and damaging gaps. The reality is we know that there are parts of the state that we simply had not been able to reach in the past, and we wanted to make sure that all of Louisiana's citizens would be able to take advantage of those opportunities, both for themselves and also for their communities. And then lastly, to significantly increase the educational level for adults of every age. You heard President Sullivan just yesterday point out, and is exactly the case, that of the order of 1 million people in this state, the highest credential that they have is a high school diploma. And the numbers that I've shown you before, and and I'll show you again in just a few seconds, it just show that there is no way that in today's economy, just a high school diploma is enough. Not for you to be able to sustainably and dependably be able to support your family and those around you. So making sure that those opportunities are available to all of Louisiana's population is incredibly important. Today's student doesn't look like the student of the past, right? The days where people who go to college look like somebody who just came out of high school, those days aren't with us anymore. It's not clear that they have been with us really for about the last 30 or 40 years, but the reality is it is certainly not the case today. You can see represented across that map all of the different kinds of population, that all kinds of different initiatives and work that is happening across this agency and across the institutions are happening on a daily basis. You heard Allison's presentation just this morning, showing how important it is that we're really able to engage people as people and recognize the challenges that they have and finding ways in which we can support them in their journey across something past high school to prosperity. So today's work is around accelerating momentum. You have the physical copy in front of you. I really do want to thank Chris Yandel for all of his hard work in doing all of the, just putting up with me and my last-minute Nelly ways of trying to create copy and all of those things, because the reality is I know that he makes things look quite wonderful, and it's a wonderful story to tell and quite wonderfully told. So thank you for that. So bottom line is we are at an all-time high. 52.5% of our population now have a credential past high school. This is an all-time high for the state of Louisiana, and I can now finally say we are absolutely on track to get to 60% by 2030. I've said it before, this is not an aspiration in this state, it is a destination. It is only a matter of time until we, sure enough, do get to that 60% goal, and you can see that little tracking thing is just above the star, showing that we are on track right now to get to a little bit more than 60% if we continue on the trajectory that we are headed in. You can see, just as the board chair showed us, this has not been a straight shot from the 44% that we had in 2014 to where we are now, but we are absolutely on a beeline to get to that 60%. And I know I don't need to persuade you how transformative that is for Louisiana's citizens. So many of the people who have earned credentials over the last years, they are first-generation students in their family to earn credentials past high school. And I know you've heard me say this before, but I think it deserves retelling, that it is very rare for first-generation students to be last-generation students. And so when we change that course of a family because somebody earns a credential, it is an entire family that has changed, not just that one person. And that's a powerful picture in this state and others too. Just to sort of drink in the impact of that, because just as you look at this, there aren't so many things in life where increasing by a percent point here or there that makes that much difference. From 2019 to today, 350,000 people now have credentials in this state who didn't have credentials before. I know that many of you maybe went to see the Tigers play. That's enough people to fill Tiger Stadium much more than 3 times over. So have that picture in your head. 3 stadia all cheering about the fact that they have a credential that they didn't have before. That's what we do, and that's what we're about here at the Board of Regents. It is also the case that as well as that attainment goal of 52.5% or of 60% and 52.5% as our achievement, it is also the case that we have a target that on an annual basis as a state that we would create 85,000 credential holders, new people who didn't have credentials before or have upgraded their credentials. Today, as of last year, we were at 80,000. In this last 12 months, we awarded 80,000 awarded credentials to 80,000 completers. And again, I want to make sure that we drink in kind of who it is that's involved in that, because as well as our 28 public institutions, those 80,000 credentials are created by our proprietary schools, private schools at LACU, and also the schools that are involved in NC Sarah and our Act 129 schools. So it is this very broad, diverse tent of institutions who are contributing to this total of 80,000. And again, there's no way for us to get to where we want to without an all-in kind of approach. And I do want to say a big thank you to all of those schools for all of the partnerships that they play, providing us the data that we need to be able to paint this picture to you, and certainly their cooperation in doing this work. So a few things just to think through, again, the impact of this. 80,000 people, 80,000 people who now have credentials who didn't have them before. On average, each of those graduates will, across their working lifetime, earn $1 million more than had they stopped at a high school diploma. $1 million across their lifetime. Altogether, those 80,000 people will earn together about $82 billion more than had they all stopped at a high school diploma. Of course, it stands to reason that that additional income, that additional money that they will have a transformative impact on themselves, on their families, on their communities. They will buy things from companies here in Louisiana. They will, frequent businesses that are in there and all around them. They'll buy houses. They'll educate their children, but they will also contribute back to the state. And when we add up the impact of those dollars that come back to the state because of that additional income that they will have, that is a more than 8-fold increase over the investment that the state has made in enabling them to have that credential. And so I think it's important for us to realize that the cost to the state in creating higher education here in the state is not really a cost. It is an investment in Louisiana's future, and it's an investment in the people here in Louisiana. And I think you can see with this 8-fold return, it's a pretty wise investment too. So I really want to thank, again, the legislators here in the state for their generosity in investing in the people of Louisiana. Hopefully they will see that this is a wise investment for them to make. It is, of course, an investment in enabling Louisiana to be the state that it needs to be. It is not enabling people to have credentials for credentialing's sake. It is enabling people to have the skills, the knowledge, the ability, and the credentials that enable them to be productive members of Louisiana's workforce, both today and in the future. And so filling Louisiana's workforce pipeline, that's what we're about. That's what we've been talking about all day today, about how we can make sure that we have here in the state the educational resources that enable this state to be all that it could be. All right, so a few highlights about how it is we're going about our work. I said to you that higher education today is not just about people right out of high school, but it is also certainly about people right out of high school. And so how do we enable many more people who leave high school to continue with what they're doing in something after high school? Part of that is beginning their collegiate level work in high school, in their high school experience. Today, in the last academic year, we were at an all-time high, 43,000 total enrollment involved in dual enrollment across our state. 43,000. This is year after year after year after year of double-digit percentage increases to get to where we are today. And it is, in fact, the case that this focus on early college is, again, paying an enormous dividend. It is the case that we finally have seen college-going turn around. For more than a decade here in this state, college-going right out of high school has been on a steady decline. Yes, COVID poured the gasoline on that, and we really saw it drop off, but it didn't start with COVID, it didn't end with COVID. We finally saw this turnaround this year, and I'm confident that when we see the numbers come from the Department of Ed in just a little while, we will see that new trend increase. And it is literally because of this strategy of making sure that people have an opportunity to begin college while they are in high school, so they'll continue college after high school. Similarly, our deliberate strategy to try to engage adults. There are, as we say, 1 million people out there who have a high school credential as their highest credential, but we want them to have more. And so the MJ Foster program is a perfect example of a strategy that works so wonderfully well for that. Since its inception, the MJ Foster program has now served more than 10,000 students, created more than 4,000 graduates, and it's that number to the right of the 4,000 that I think you really need to concentrate on. This is transformative to those people who go through this program. 70% of the people who begin the program have a family income that is below the ALICE threshold, a family income that is below the survivability threshold here in Louisiana. after they finish the program. It's the other way around. And you can see that after they finish the program, on average, their individual income increases by $36,000. So we're going from, this really is exactly as we understood, Louisiana prospering, changing the lives of people to a totally new life where they are able to support themselves and their families on an ongoing basis, giving them the dignity of work and the dignity of being able to be self-sufficient. This is an extraordinary program and one we should be very proud of here in Louisiana. Same when it comes to the work that we have done across the state in enabling many more students to find success in their early college math and English. I know I've talked to you before, math and English are the Kevin Bacon of curriculum. They're right at the heart of everything that we do. It is the place where success there leads to success and lack of success leads to lack of success. It is the case, and I've shown you already, that we've more than increased the success of math and English for people who began in developmental education by a factor of 5. This is a brand new statistic that we've been able to see. The impact is not just in a math and English class. Yes, those students are more successful in their math class. Yes, they're more successful in their English class. But you can see that they are also, on average, earning about 60% more credits across the fullness of their first year in study. So it isn't just about success in math and English. It's changing the whole trajectory of their success in college, and that's a really powerful thing for us to know. It is not only us who is, I know I'm just being the sort of, just like Dr. Lee yesterday, trying to be the chief bragging officer, which is just terrific, but it is not only us who is bragging on this. You can see quotes from Secretary Bourgeois, from Louisiana Economic Development. We very much welcome the partnership that we have with her agency. We could not do this alone, and we should not do this alone. And so you can see how important she thinks this is. The progress made with Louisiana Prospers goal shows what's possible through higher education here in this state. We very much welcome that. Similarly, Secretary Showen, again, very much valued the hand-in-glove partnership we have with her and with her team, because she agrees that building a future where every Louisianan has the chance to pursue a rewarding career and be part of their success story. We completely agree with that. We know that this is a ticket to their success story, and we want them to be the authors of it. That's here in this state. It's not just in this state. People are talking about this. So this is Nancy Zimfer, who is the president of the National Association of System Heads. This is one of the national organizations that works with agencies just like ourselves. And you can see from her perspective what it is that's happening here in Louisiana is a blueprint for other states to copy, a master class in system, as she says, because of the impact and the deliberate strategy that we're trying to enact across a multitude of fronts here in Louisiana. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. But again, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who is involved in this work. It is a privilege to be part of it.
And thank you, Dr. Denley. When this master plan was put forward, I guess, was that 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
6 years ago.
I know there was a national story about it improving Louisiana's credit rating. What happens when we actually realize it? Is that follow-up going to happen? I'm hoping that happens.
Well, I'm hoping so.
I don't know if y'all were there when it happened, when it announced it. Yeah.
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 I mean, it is. I
That's
think,
how big it is.
It is mentioned in the report, the fact that this is more than just. This is more than people earning credentials. This is transformative across the life of the state, and it's companies like Moody's who recognize the economic impact to, yes, individuals, but as a state. And so it's important for us. I think it is the case that Louisiana finds itself at the wrong end of too many lists, or has in the past. The 52.5% number that we announced today, so the latest data that we have from Lumina stacks out that same attainment rate for all 50 states. The latest data that we have from Lumina is from 2023. But if we insert that 52.5 number into that data structure, we will be at 35. So to move from where we have been plenty of time. To somewhere comfortably in the center of the pack is, I think, already terrific. Plenty more work to be done. No reason why we should say 35 is good enough. It's not good enough, but it's certainly better than 49th and 50th, which we have found ourselves so many times. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Regent W., I'm so glad you brought that up. I wasn't aware of that. Anytime, any initiative that is powerful enough to move,
Moody's.
I mean, that is unbelievable. So,
And that was just a promise, and now they're actually doing it. So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
pretty amazing.
And so I think I'm glad you mentioned that.
So I will mention on page 2, in the second paragraph to the bottom, it references Moody's, but we will send you the electronic version of the report, which links to the Moody's report. And so appreciate Regent David mentioning that, because it was a big win for us then as a promise to sort of motivate us to get there. And so now we definitely want to calculate where we are and what does it mean for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Denley, for all of your work and also for the campus's faculty and staff who have helped make this possible. 52.5% attainment, on track record to exceed, 3 LSU football stadiums full of completers since 2019, and 80,000 completers a year and climbing. That's some excellent work, and thanks so much for everything that you're doing. We appreciate you. We will now move on to Devesh's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would first likely to thank the Commissioner for hosting such a wonderful hazing prevention summit. I unfortunately wasn't able to make it there, but I've heard back from my COS presidents and as well as the other students who've attended that it was a wonderful and informative summit. We realize as a state and as a higher education board, it is imperative that we look and we focus on these hazing prevention issues. So thank you so much for hosting that. I'm actually going through my hazing prevention training again, just because we've now put in the proper policies and we are now, every single institution has to meet this higher, regulation, higher requirement, which is a wonderful thing to see. So thank you so much for doing that. In my report, I'd like to go ahead and inform that the first meeting is, of course, going to be hosted here, like I reported last time, in Baton Rouge. Dr. Lee and the wonderful people at LSU have had a wonderful program with the theme. So we'll be here October 3rd and 4th for the COSP meeting, where all the presidents from all the institutions, all the public institutions will meet. The theme for this one is going to be a pretty interesting one, as we have discussed here as a board at the first meeting that I was at, AI in higher education. So it's going to be a wonderful topic to hear what the students think, and I would love to bring this back whenever we meet in Monroe for October meeting of what students think about AI in higher education and get the other perspective. I know that we asked AI as a question to all of our systems yesterday, so we got to see a little bit of perspective from the system standpoint, but now we get to hear back from students, and I would be it'll be a wonderful report to just hear back what they think. And that's what I'll be doing. Again, I will report more after the Council of Student Body Presidents happens. This is, of course, the first, right at the midterm standpoint of our fall semester here. So once I get that, I will report more. So thank you all so much. That's all that I have. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Devesh. On to some of the things that we've been up to this month. August was a month full of travel. One of the big highlights was our trip across the pond with the Louisiana delegation. Workforce Secretary Susie Showen, the Governor's Education Advisor Dr. Sabre Kingham, Commissioner Reed, and myself all joined colleagues in Dr. Tristan Denley's home country of England for a degree apprenticeship study at the University of Oxford's New College. This convening was led by NGA, which is the National Governors Association, Craft Education, and the National Center for Grow Your Own, and it brought together education leaders and policymakers from across the nation to explore how higher ed and employers can partner to create earn-to-learn pathways. Louisiana was proud to be one of only 18 states invited to participate, and even prouder to be asked to present in our state's collaboration between K-12, higher education, and workforce development. Not often, it's not often that you get to claim that we did a presentation on stage at Oxford University. So it was quite an experience. We learned a lot. We had a lot of great conversations amongst us in the Louisiana delegation. And guys, it's an exciting time to be in education, not only on the K-12 level, when they've moved up in such ranks, to see that we're now moving up to 35, and now we're including workforce. This is the pathway that levels all the playing fields for people in our state. And I just cannot tell you how excited I am to be a part of this and to be part of such an amazing team that is all rowing the boat in one direction, and we're going to get it done. And in a few years, we're going to blow all of our benchmarks out of the water. When we returned home from England, the pace didn't slow down. In fact, it picked up quite quickly. On to Accreditation Task Force. One of our first major events when we arrived back home was the inaugural meeting of the Governor's Task Force on Public Higher Education Reform. That was held on August the 28th. Commissioner Reed and I serve on the task force along with board chairs of our 4 public post-secondary systems. The first meeting provided an overview of key accreditation issues, including President Trump's executive order, the U.S. Department of Education's Dear Colleague letter, and Governor Landry's executive order establishing this task force. Dr. Tristan Denley also shared an Accreditation 101 presentation to the ground discussion for members, which was greatly appreciated. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 30th, and it's always held in the governor's press room. We also had, it's Task Force Week when we hit the ground, it seems like. So monthly we have Task Force Week. Our other task force is the Hazing Prevention Summit. It was referenced by Devesh. Regents host more than 125 events, task force, and board meetings every year. Of those events, none were as timely or monumental as our Hazing Prevention Summit, followed by this month's Caleb Wilson Hazing Prevention Task Force meeting held on September 16th. Commissioner Reed and I did numerous live TV spots for the WAFB early show to discuss the importance of the summit, as well as the Caleb Wilson Hazing Prevention Task Force. Attorney General Liz Murrell, East Baton Rouge DA Hiller Moore, and student leaders and our system presidents all spoke throughout the day. And guys, that was a very powerful day. To listen to all of those testimonies and to the parents and to the groups that are working hard to figure out hazing. And also we had some news that from some of the guys, who was it that wrote the book? Dr. Kimbrough. He had a great talk that was not all sunshine and roses. He said it's very hard to solve the issue of hazing, almost impossible, but with work together we can do a lot to keep our kids safe, which is the goal. And that was the goal that was resounding throughout the entire day, was how do we keep our kids safe? And that should be the goal for all of us. I mean, they go to college to move forward and to have a better life, and we certainly want them to do that safely and successfully. And as a mother of 2 sons who went through the Greek life, it's important to me that we stop hazing on campuses and ensure the safety of all of our students. Great job by Dr. Allison Smith and the Regents team on a very strong day and powerful day of programming and instruction. Next, board engagement. As chair of the Board of Regents, I love how engaged our board members are. They're everywhere. No matter the event or place, our board members always show up. Earlier this month, Commissioner Reed and Workforce Secretary Susie Showen were in Shreveport to present to Leadership Louisiana. The night before, they hosted a dinner for the area higher education leaders, and 2 of our board members, Regent Aubrey and Regent Pryor, were happy to attend. Thanks to each of you for continuing to be actively engaged in the work that the Regents is doing. And finally, to sum things up, the preview of the ULM trip. Next month, I'm excited to welcome my fellow board members to my hometown of Monroe, Louisiana. We will be convening on the LSU campus We have a robust two-day agenda. On Tuesday, October 21st, we will visit my alma mater, Louisiana Tech, as well as Regent Aubrey's alma mater, Grambling State. On Wednesday, October 22nd, our board meeting will feature presentations from economic development and business leaders in Northeast Louisiana before we gather at ULM. It promises to be a very busy but engaging couple of days, and I'm so happy to host everyone in my neck of the woods. That concludes my very lengthy list of chair's comments, and I'm handing it over to Commissioner Reed.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. First of all, very excited about the new master plan numbers, the 52.5%. I want to make sure the board members do look at the sort of front and back of the testimonial supporting the good work, phenomenal work by all of higher ed and the staff, and just so excited about it. As the chair mentioned, we have been fast and furious doing all kinds of work in all kinds of places. So really appreciate that. Loved our trip to Oxford as well, and the learning that we did there. So my first comment is about our staff retreats out of this world. We were at the Louisiana Arts and Science Center. It's really exciting for us to have an opportunity to do some team building and learning, and of course hear about the master plan and some other work. We enjoyed the planetarium as well there, and really enjoyed the camaraderie with our team, and really appreciate everyone who worked so hard, Susanna, Craig, and others, to make the retreat a really memorable one for the team and for us to recognize all of our great work that we're doing together. We initiated a new staff award, and of course the chair, even though we were jet lagged slightly, got there to present the awards to our staff members, our employee recognition awards. And these are designed to honor staff who demonstrate excellence, innovation, and service in advancing Regents' mission. So I want to make sure that you get a chance to meet the individuals who were recognized. The Innovation Award for Improving Creative Solutions was Elizabeth Kelly from Lewis, who has transformed how Lewis serves academic libraries across Louisiana. And I don't know if she was able to join us today, but make sure she knows, staff, that we gave her a shout out. The Impact Award, celebrating those who spark positive change. This year's winner is Brianna Golden. Energy on 10 at all times across the street. Love her. And then our Good Citizen Award, honoring those who strengthen our culture with their kindness and teamwork and hard work. And this year's winner, Christina Cheek. So very happy for all of them, grateful for them. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And then finally, I will mention that this is Student Parent Month. And so across the country, there are over 3 million college students nationwide who are parents, 1 in 5. And this month is our opportunity to support those student parents as they try to balance family and education as well. So throughout our social media this month, Chris and his team have done a great job of highlighting the campuses across the state that have on-site college, have child care centers. And so if you've tracked any of our social media, you see that we're talking about the value of the on-campus child care centers as a game changer for parents, and certainly important as we try to advance the work of our master plan. So kudos to everyone for that good work. Excited about where we are and where we're headed. And with that, Madam Chair, I'll return it to you.
Madam Chair, can I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
Y'all have accomplished so much. I'm tired just hearing what y'all have done. So kudos to both of you for all that you've accomplished, and like the Oxford trip and just all the different things. It's informational not only for the public but for us to know and see what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you for that. You never get tired of doing good work with good people. It makes it even better. Is there any other business to come before our board?
Regent Finley co-host the tour at Grambling with me as a fellow Grambling alum. So I love that she co-hosts with me.
Grambling is not just Regent Aubrey's alma mater. It was
I
mine.
heard a little moaning
He's
going
just
on
more
down
vocal.
here.
Mine first.
While we're adding to the corrections, our board meeting will be at my alma mater.
And mine.
All right. So we have 2 ULM alum, so.
Everybody wear your colors on your day.
Wait, since we're commenting, I will help with the Louisiana Tech Tour if we're going to do that, so there we go.
Always a team effort. That's it. Okay, members, as a reminder, we will be off-site in Monroe in October. We'll see you all again next month on Tuesday, October 21st for our board retreat and our board meeting at ULM's campus. Doreen, do we have any public comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Regent May, seconded by Dallas Hickson. Any discussions, any questions?
Great meeting.
All right.